Hello, my data mavens, and welcome to another episode of Fun with Statistics. Today I'm going to be doing a little video on using Minitab. Today I'm doing the Chapter 3 notes for Minitab. So this can be found in your Blackboard site under Minitab and then case study, or no, Minitab assignment 1. Oh, I just said the wrong name. Oh well. So those files I have listed here as well. So if you want to follow along, you can open the Microsoft Word version of the Minitab Chapter 3 notes. And these are the two data files I'm going to be using. So you'll need to download those if you don't already have them somewhere. So I'm going to click on the Chapter 3 examples one, since that's the one I'm going to start with. We're going to click OK, so that it opens the data file. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is to do a graphical summary of the uniform variable. So I'm going to go up to Stat and Basic Statistics and then choose Graphical Summary. This is just to get an idea of what your data looks like. And I'm doing this for the uniform variable. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And this gives you lots of information. It's also a great place to start when you want to know what's going on with your data. Notice it gives you lots of things that you know the names of, like minimum. Oh no, here's the 5-number summary. Mean, standard deviation, variance. And then the number of data that are present. Now, skewness and kurtosis we'll talk about later, or maybe not at all, because, you know, that's usually left till stat 2. Same with the Anderson-Darling normality test. This is just a test for normality. Clearly, this is not very normal looking. It's very uniform, hence its name, uniform. I'm going to go ahead and close this for now. And then I'm not going to save it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the mean and standard deviation for uniform. Now those were on that graphical summary, but I'm also going to show you another way to do that. So if I hit Stat and go over to Basic Statistics, I'm going to choose Descriptive Statistics. And I'm doing this for the uniform variable. And then I'm going to hit the Statistics button so that I can pick which statistics I want to get. In particular, I want the mean and the standard deviation, and I don't want the rest of these, so I'm going to unclick them. If you wanted all of these, you could just go ahead and leave them selected. And there we go. I'm just going to hit OK, and then I hit OK again. And there's my descriptive statistics for my uniform variable, and there's my mean and my standard deviation. And just like in class, you can select this and copy it to paste in your Word document if you want. Ooh, I didn't open that. So I would go ahead and paste this. I always choose keep source formatting so that it looks like Minitab data, so this doesn't get all jumbled and reorganized into something that's not orderly looking. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot. Oh well. We'll put it in the right one. Woohoo! Anyway, so now I'm going to create a 5-number summary for this symmetric data. So if I go over here and I choose Stat again and Basic Statistics and go over to Descriptive Statistics, which is where you'll find all of your statistics, and then I'm going to choose the symmetric data. There are lots of ways you can select and place things in here. You notice that if you don't have to type it in here, by the way. If you go to select something and this is a blank area, it's because you haven't selected a box to place your data into. You can also highlight and then hit select if you're worried about making sure that it comes in correct. Oh, and I wanted symmetric. And then I'm going to hit statistics, and I'm going to deselect mean and standard deviation because those are not part of the 5-number summary. However, the minimum, the maximum, the first quartile, the median, and the third quartile all are. We're going to hit OK. And then OK again to display these. And notice how that comes up again in your session window. So I'm going to once again copy these and then go ahead and paste them in my Word document. This is exactly how you'll go through and copy and paste your information for your first assignment, which appears below this little note page in your Blackboard site. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a histogram, woohoo, of the uniform data. I'm going to create a simple one, just one data variable. I'm going to choose uniform. Usually when I'm messing with my graphs, I like to label them so that they have good informational labels. So this is the uniform data. Fun times. You can also add subtitles and footnotes and other things that you might need if you wanted to express more what your graph is going to be a data of. I'm also going to select use Y labels to make it give me column totals for everything. And then I'm going to select OK. Alrighty, so if you take a look at this graph, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. That way you can see it more readily on the video. Check my video. Looking good, looking good. Alright, so the big thing, did I just close that? Can you see its window? Yes, I'm good. Sorry. You notice that my bars all have numbers on top of them. Normally, if you didn't select that little radial button I chose about Y labels, then you wouldn't have this. So it also tells you like what your count is for all of these bars. And if you leave your mouse hovering over a bar, it'll tell you how many values are falling in that bin and where the start and end of a bin is. So that tells you that this bar has all the values that are between 33.75 and 36.25, and there are 17 values that have to fall in between there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shrink this. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to graph a bunch of things together. So I'm going to go over to Graph, Histogram, and here I'm going to still choose Simple. But when I hit OK, instead of choosing just one variable, I'm going to choose 3. So I'm going to do a multigraph. So I'm going to go to multigraph and make some selection changes. You can choose to graph them on separate graphs, so you'll get 3 separate graphs. But I want to put mine all on a same graph, which you don't have to do. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that mine have the same scale. That way when I'm comparing these data, I know that they I show up the same. We'll hit OK, and I'm going to hit OK again. And then if you notice, they all show up together. I'll make this larger again so you can see this more readily. The nice thing about this, oh, I didn't uncheck that I wanted Y scale. That's okay. So if you look at this, they're all using the same scale. So the same X scale, same Y scale. So that means that when you're comparing these, you're not comparing the similar data on different scales. So if you happen to do that on accident, it might be easy to say that, oh, these are the same shape, or they look similar, or something like that. And they won't be necessarily that. I've seen plenty of data options where people have displayed graphs that have totally wickedly different scales, and yet they claim that these represent the same data, and that's not, or the same groups, and that's just not a good habit. Anyway. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close that. No. And now I'm going to create a 5-number summary. So that's a statistic. So I'm going to go back to display descriptive statistics. And this time I'm going to calculate the minimum, first quartile, third quartile, median, and maximum for the symmetric variable. Oh wait, did I already do this? I did already do this. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm going to make a box plot. Haha! Let's make a graph. The nice thing about this graph video little area is that it has little pictures of everything in it, so that if you don't remember the name of a graph, you certainly can recognize it by its image. So I'm going to just create a simple 1-variable box plot. Click OK of the symmetric data. I'm going to go into data options. Oh no, wait, that's not what I wanted. Sorry about that. Data view. And I'm going to click a few things. So hold on a second. Oh, there's someone at my door. Sorry about that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and you'll get this lovely box plot. There's a couple things to notice about this box plot. It has a couple little stars on it. That means that these values are found to be outliers, which means they're greater than 1.5 times the interquartile range. The other thing to notice is that it's vertical. I like my box plots horizontal, so I'd like to show you how to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Graph. I'm going to choose box plot again. I'm choosing a simple one. We're going to click OK. I'm still going to do symmetric. And then I'm going to hit scale, and there's this option to transpose values in category scales. I'm going to hit OK. Click OK again, and then OK again. And notice that gives me a horizontal box plot, which you may or may not like better. Usually when you see biological data, they like to do theirs vertical, and since Minitab's history comes from that, you know, stuff. You get things. Anyway, next up, I'm going to close this. No, I don't want to save it. And I'm going to open some other data. Oh, not a worksheet. Cancel. Sorry. So I'm going to go up to File, and notice there's an option to open a project or open a worksheet. Worksheets are collections of data. Projects are everything you see here, from the session window to the data down here to the graphs. I want to open some new data, so I'm going to choose Open Worksheet. Now I happen to know where my worksheet information is. It's in my Stat 1 folder under my Minitab lessons, and then there's the height data, which is what I want. Now, if you wanted to open some Excel data, it won't show up on here because this is only showing files of Minitab type. So if I wanted to see more, I would have to add in the rest of these types. So if I selected like all, you know, that's what I would need to do to see the rest. Obviously, I'm not going to be opening a Word document. Instead, I'm going to choose the height document, and I'm going to open it. Come on. Good job. Oh my God. No. I'm going to have to pause this while I figure out why. There we go. Open. Yeah, I'm fine with opening some new data. Okay, so notice that there are two variables showing up in this data. There is the height variable and the sex variable. Now, this could be for anything, so don't be offended if you're a transgender. This is not gender, it's sex. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself some histogram action. But I think before I do that, I'm going to, no, let's just do what I said I'm going to do on the list. Histogram, fun times. We're going to choose simple. And I want height now, not my old data. And I'm not going to, let's see, I'm going to turn off some of my labeling. None. And I'm going to remove that uniform data title because, well, obviously this isn't the uniform data anymore. So I'm going to hit OK. And as you look at this data, I'm hoping you notice that, you know, it has some peculiar behavior. It looks fairly symmetric, but it's got a rather wide symmetry to it, or you might say that it's, you know, unimodal with one lump, or you might say that it's bimodal with two. And you should suspect that this is going to look a little bimodal because you should know that males and females tend to have different heights. In fact, females are usually shorter, in case you didn't know. So we're going to go ahead and reflect that fact by doing another graph. This time, I'm going to do it with groups so that I can separate the two. So we're going to choose this variable first, which is our graph of what we're going to do, and then we're going to group by category. And the categorical variable we're going to choose is sex. So as you look at this, this is graphing height, separating it by the category sex, and we're going to click OK. And as you look at this graph, you notice that you have some overlap where the blue graph and the red graph come in, but it's separated the male and the female so that you can clearly see that, oh yes, there's the females and they are a uniform unimodal symmetric distribution, and so are the males. And it just was a little easier to see when I separated them by gender. Yay! So next, no, I don't want to save that one. I'm going to gather some data. So I'm going to display descriptive statistics, height, and I want to display the mean and standard deviation. I'm going to unselect my 5-number summary because I'm not interested in that at this moment. Click OK, and click OK again. And there's my descriptive statistics that I can select and put in my Word document. And then the last thing I'm going to do is calculate the mean and the standard deviation for the males and the females in the sample. So I go into basic statistics, display descriptive statistics, and I'm doing height, but I'm also going to do it by gender so that I get it separated by that categorical variable. And I'm not going to change my statistical choice since it's still mean and standard deviation, and I'm going to select OK. And notice it gives me the mean for males and females and the standard deviation for males and females separately. Okay, that's all I wanted to show you today. If you're looking for some other information and or other videos on how to do things, remember the Chapter 2 video also tells you how to do frequencies. That is all.